Hello and welcome to Last Level Gamescast. My name's Jason. That's Phil. Say hi, Phil.
Hi.
Hi, Phil. That's Var. Say hi, Var.
How's it going?
Good, good. How you guys doing?
Good. Good. Just another lovely day in the life.
Yeah, it's February 4th and XCOM 2's out tomorrow.
No.
Exciting for 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 3, Phil. How you feeling?
2 out of. I mean, I won't play it. I watched a bunch of it being played, but I'm not.
So 2 out of 3 of us are excited. I know, Phil, you watched some on Twitch. You were talking about it before we started recording, but what intrigues you about it?
It looks different. It looks good. It seems like it's a incremental improvement. You know, they didn't go crazy. They didn't change anything drastically. So if you like XCOM 1, you're gonna like XCOM 2. Like, I didn't see anything that varied so greatly that I think it's gonna like offend XCOM 1 players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But on the same note, there's nothing in it that, as a non-XCOM fan, I'm gonna pick up that game.
Fair enough.
You know?
You don't want to be that pissed off at a game.
Yeah, I don't. I don't want to be saving every 5 seconds just to reload and save and reload and save. I'm good.
Tapes go.
Yeah, pretty much.
There it is. Var, you're excited for it, right? Yeah? Yeah, okay. Fair enough. So, we'll just get into the news. We got lots to talk about today. There's a lot going on. And, it's kind of a down period as far as game releases, but, like, this is, aside from tomorrow, obviously. It's going to start ramping up soon.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
I think Uncharted 4 is next month, March.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
So, we'll see. I'm still playing Rainbow Six. Oh,
Yep.
and Madden.
New
16.
operators.
Yeah. Yeah. Madden 16 free on EA Access. Starting the franchise.
We did it.
I know, we saved our money.
I know.
All right, so let's get into it. So we're going to start off with some Homefront news. Some interesting stuff for an interesting game, interesting shooter. So there's a couple articles from GameSpot that we all saw. You guys can click them, search for them on the internet. But they were talking about Homefront's co-op. So Var, I'm going to let you elaborate a little bit on this for me, because they mentioned something that is in your realm, Dark Souls.
Yeah.
That
all right.
Go ahead.
For those who have never played Homefront, is a shooter with we discussed it briefly. Its premise was to have a good story, but the game was so ungodly short that it had no chance of delivering. Like, really, really, really short.
Yeah.
Like, makes the order look like a long game short.
Oh, okay. That's a
Run
little.
the numbers.
That's a little.
Run the numbers. It's that
I'm not
short.
willing to go that far, but yes, it was a short game.
The numbers would agree with me on this one. It's that short.
Well, can you skip the cutscenes in Homefront?
Yes.
They're not that long.
You can in Wolfenstein. I mean, in the Order. You can't in the Order.
That's why it's long.
What subconscious thing you just did there.
Well, they're kind of similar.
But in an article, it's co-op, which wasn't really a feature in the original.
Mm-hmm.
They laid out the lines, and for whatever reason, they referred to its difficulty being along the lines of Dark Souls.
It's the Dark Souls of shooters.
Which, as I was saying,
just saying, that's what they said.
Dark Souls, which
it's the Dark Souls of shooters.
This is one of those things. I know it doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, but it's one of those weird things that annoys me when you take something that people, just something that people refer to, and use it as the standard, and it has nothing to do with your own product. Like, there will be no parallels. There's no parallel I can think of other than the ultra broad spectrum of difficulty, which you don't need a title for. You can say your game will be extremely difficult and therefore rewarding. You don't need a title to do that. And even reading the article, nothing in there was like it's like it was accidentally put there, but it's on purpose, because nothing in that article had anything to do with tying those two things together.
No.
Nothing.
So do you think it was more them trying to reference, like, maybe they'll have a mode where it's like one bullet, one kill, like more of like realistic, yeah. Do you think that's what they meant? It's going to be a punishing shooter?
That's I mean, again, I think he doesn't like the person that was talking about the game doesn't want you to take that serious. But yeah, I think he's just talking about the parallel that there is that they want it to be punishing like Dark Souls.
Right.
Yes, I get that, but I personally think that doesn't work in a shooter. I personally don't feel that working at all in a shooter, especially in a co-op, because this may just be me. That brings that environment of, if you're with a friend, you get frustrated. Yeah. If you're online doing that, you just quit.
Yeah, but I think they can make it a mode. It doesn't have to be the whole game, but they can make that a mode or like a way to play online. And then, I would have agreed with you about the frustrating part about the online until I played Rainbow Six. And like, even when my team's not the best, I'm still having fun and I'm still enjoying the experience.
Yeah. Okay. Not every game does that, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Right.
But
right. So
Rainbow Six is built that way. If there's going to be any level of transition from the original Homefront to,
but there won't be.
Okay.
Because it's a completely different studio.
Yeah.
The way I look at it, the only thing that's going to stay the same is storylines, right?
Okay.
So is the setting and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, so the original makers THQ, like, sad for them and whatnot, but like we saw what happened to them and they take it real hard. Deep Silver is actually a pretty respected studio. So I have more hopes for the game than if like THQ was making it and saying this stuff. Then I'd be like, you're saying a lot of things.
I wouldn't buy it because they're out of business. Yeah. Like, you're making a game. No, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing they announced about the game that worries me and kind of, it sounds too good to be true, the free year of DLC.
Yeah. No.
And they start the article by saying it'll be a year of DLC, which sounds hilarious for a game that's like 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And I know, but it is like 2 hours long.
But this game is
going to game. Yeah. That's not this game.
How can I understand?
That's not this game.
That's all right. Let me get to the point. That's another thing that bothers me. If you're going to make a new title, make it a new title. Why take this old tarnished?
Because you want the setting. You want the setting and you want the backstory from it. That's what they bought. Literally, that's what they bought.
I get you.
Is they bought the title at THQ's fire sale, which actually went to Crytek, and then Crytek went to Koch Me. Anyway, but they bought it for the story.
Yeah.
Which is Red Dawn.
Right.
What's wrong with that? I don't understand.
But
the good news is they don't got to pay the fees for it being Red Dawn. Thank God, huh? Probably cost a lot more.
That's true. Just name it, not Red Dawn. No, I think it's promising that they're talking about that this game is going to be supported for more than just its release. Right, that's a good thing. We don't know what that looks like.
And everything will be free. They stress that everything will be free.
Yeah, they mentioned
so
there's new missions in the game that you have to pay for.
New missions. Now you can buy stuff too. Okay. Like you can buy. They have microtransactions for people who don't play the game enough where they want to get certain things, which in itself, now it seems to be more typical. But they're not going the route of a traditional season pass, which is, I think, good, right? Like, would you agree that that's good? Or
but that's what
depends on the content, maybe, right?
Yeah.
They're saying this now, but
man,
it's gonna sound bad, but I have this feeling that most companies are in for money grabs.
They all are. They all want money.
Companies are in it to they're in it to make money, but
I know they're in it to make money.
Yeah.
That's different from money grab. You can make money by presenting something worth money, and you can try every effort you have to just milk money out of people, which to me isn't the same thing.
Well, I get that, but let me rephrase this. Companies are in it to make the most money possible, right?
Right.
For a game. Let's say they're making for a game. The problem you have is that you have certain companies, and it's not everyone, but it's certain companies that go too far with it and continue to go too far with it, like EA. But it's one of those things where, like, they haven't shown you that you have any reason to believe that they're going to do it until they do it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just like Payday. The Payday. They said they promised one thing and then they handle another. When they do that, then you know. You know what I mean? I don't think this sounds like a money grab. I just think the interesting thing I find about it.
I didn't say this sounds like a money grab. I'm saying that's my fear.
That's always your fear, though.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm surprised with XCOM 2. You're like, nah, man.
Yeah.
In 2 months, they're gonna put out another $50 thing, and I don't want to pay for it.
No, because that's always a possibility with DLC, but their lying basis of, hey, we made this game before and it was worth. Like that's what I trust, and you taking the title of Homefront may just be a warning of this won't be worth it. I know you guys don't agree.
Okay, fair enough. All right, fair enough. We'll move on.
We can move on. I get it.
We're excited to find out more and for VAR to be more cynical, but we'll move on to the next thing. So
I'm gonna name a game XCOM 3.
And
it's just gonna be Peggle.
Oh no, you do like Peggle, don't you? I'm pretty sure he likes Peggle. Whatever.
So many microtransactions.
Let's move on to another big game with some interesting takes on DLC and versions of that. So Bungie has a new CEO. It's
Yay!
Pete Parsons. He's been with Bungie for a while.
Yep.
So just the main thing from what we've been seeing online and everything is 2 points that we want to talk about. First is there's a growing concern, and I think Phil, I'm expecting you to attest to this or deny this, but there's a growing concern that after they announced the fact that they won't have any major DLC, that they were going to go to these events and microtransactions for different things to support the game, that right now there's a lack of content that there was in previous years with Destiny, and it's kind of pissing a lot of Destiny fans off. Do you see that? Because I haven't played Destiny in like 5 months since the Taken King.
Yeah, so it's been probably a month and a half since I played, if I even bothered to turn on Destiny. I think it's kind of a twofold. So they've had some pretty strong leaks and pretty strong indications that Destiny 2 will not ship this year.
Okay.
So that plus not having those packs and those content, and then on top of that, them being like, hey, we did the racing thing for like a couple weeks, and that counts, right, guys? And hey, we're gonna have this 1 week Crimson Doubles event for Valentine's Day, and that counts, right, guys? And that's not what people want. Like, so that stuff's good with the extra content and with the extra loot to get, but people are still rolling after the same loot as when Taken King first came out, and that's not worth it. People don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And then the other part of this, which I mean, isn't something different, is the Division. That beta dropped, and I saw a ton of my people I watch for Destiny playing the fucking Division beta, loving the shit out of it all weekend.
Yeah.
So no new content, game gets delayed, no real like, hey guys, this is what's happening going forward, and another game that pretty much mirrors Destiny style. I know people say they play differently. I don't give a fuck. It mirrors the hooks. The hooks are all the same. And yeah, so they lost their CEO,
Yeah, and it's funny. This is all speculation and everything, but when it comes to the fact that the CEO changed over and all the stuff you're talking about, you wonder how much of it's going to change, like how much redirection is going to happen now, as far as the fact that they had no big DLC. They had, they haven't really talked about Destiny 2, because I never really thought Destiny 2 was going to come out this year. I always thought maybe at earliest next year. But when we always talked about it, I didn't see this as something that would happen that often, like 3 years.
I thought like 5.
Yeah, the way they talked about it.
Because why not just X-pack it out? Just keep dropping expansions. What's the point of dropping a brand new game? They charge $60 for the Taken King, so it's not a money thing. Like,
and that's the interesting thing that I think about. So they say to you, and just hear me out on this. They say to us that, all right, we're not going to do any more big DLC. Instead, we're going to do these events, and we're not going to charge you for these events or whatever. For the most part, they haven't, or they haven't at all, I don't think. And they're going to have microtransactions, introduce these, emotes or whatever they did.
Yeah.
Now they have the opportunity kind of to come back like 6 months from when they said that. Like let's say by E3, they announce, okay, this wasn't like, not saying that they're going to say that this wasn't supported the way it should have been, but as a result of the fact that we didn't have successful support, now we're going to unleash a DLC that you're going to pay for. You know what I mean? It's not going to sound like that, but that's exactly what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like,
I think if they do that, I think they lose a major component of their fan base.
It's just it's one of those things
because by then Division's going to be in full kick,
mm-hmm.
and you're going to have, so basically you told people one thing, kind of like Payday. You told them this one thing, and then you're like, oh, BT dubs, and then how could they even have that ready? See, that's the part that blows my mind. So if they're putting all their assets on Destiny 2, it makes sense why they're not having a big expansion, right?
Okay.
Because they don't have a fucking team to do it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So if they come out with an expansion within the next 6, 7, 8 months, how the fuck did they do it?
Yeah.
Like,
maybe they already had it planned. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder how this is gonna play out, because there's no Destiny 2 yet. They don't want people to leave the game. They want people to come back. And granted, there's still a lot of people that play Destiny, but you're losing people every month.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Because of lack of
you
content.
think this is kind of a result of how far they tried to plan ahead?
Maybe.
You're talking about the 10-year strategy?
Yeah.
Maybe.
So this is gonna sound weird. I don't.
Okay.
Because the original strategy was to continue to release these expansions, and that didn't get changed until last year.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So the original plan was to continue to have expansions and new planets and new raids, and then they realized they couldn't keep the development cycle up. That's why I think if an expansion comes out soon, there's something fishy about it.
And, you know, it might be Var's cynicism that's, like, growing on me, but I feel like they would do that to prove a point.
Release something?
Yeah, like, to prove a point as far
they
as, like,
have to.
you didn't, like, we didn't get the feedback or support we expected to from not having a DLC, so here's a $50 DLC.
Yeah, but so the problem with that is they already put out all those articles about how much money they made off of Moat's first day, and how much, like, all this different shit and how well it's doing. Yeah. So that would be
dick. That would be dick.
I think if they had DLC within the next 6 months, he wouldn't have lost CEO.
Maybe
he wouldn't be out.
Yeah.
Because I think at that point they're like, well, we have a fucking plan. We just need to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think this is gonna hurt Destiny hard.
Yeah.
They fucked up. They miscalculated. Because I think all of us, when we had those original talks about microtransactions supporting DLC and events, well, where the fuck are the DLC and events?
Yeah.
Like, I understand these smaller ones, but you still need something bigger that we all thought, or maybe assumed incorrectly, but the vast majority of people assumed incorrectly, that they were going to support a new raid or support a new planet, and we just don't have it.
How, since the Sparrow racing, has there been any other events?
No, the next will be... Nope, next will be Crimson Doubles in a week.
Okay. All right. So it's around the corner. It's around the corner.
But it's only 1 week long. And it's very PvP focused.
Yeah.
So,
you know, it's going to be funny though if they do that 1 week and then like the following week they just announce the user numbers, like, oh, we had so many. I was like, it's for a week. All right.
Exactly. But they couldn't they?
Yeah, they could. Yeah. You just can't buy into it, right? Last question for the Destiny thing.
Yeah.
Do you think that if they at E3 announce that Destiny 2 is going to come out in, like, whatever, because whatever they say it's going to come out, whatever year, it's going to be a year from that, I think. Yeah. If they do, I think it's a result of what we're talking about here, where this cycle did not work the way they wanted to, and now they're just trying to push out a new version of the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we'll see.
Yeah. They either need to push up Destiny 2 or push... To me, it's almost like they have to push Destiny 2 so far back and get another expansion in to make sure people stay. Because I don't think they can release Destiny 2 quick enough to get people to stay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. It's good stuff.
We'll see.
Let's move on to another big publishing studio. EA. So, EA, it was normally at E3. They're normally there.
Yeah.
So this year it looks like they're going to be having their own event, their own E3, in LA and in London. They're still going to be at E3, doing like private meetings, I guess, with press. But for the most part, they're going to be out of E3. A couple things. Let's start brainstorming what we think is going to happen. So we found out that Mass Effect got pushed to 2017, which
motherfuckers
was my prediction. Just want to say, but
motherfuckers.
So that's already
not my prediction.
That's already out of this year. What do you guys think we're gonna see out of this? Like, what do you think is gonna happen with this? You think they're gonna be like Bethesda and just announce like some crazy shit, or is it just a way for them to control what people are going to see? And what do you guys think you might see there?
I really don't want to just yell Call of Duty, but no,
I don't.
No, you won't.
kind of.
You
Call
won't.
of Duty killer.
That's not. Call of Duty killer. Well, there will be Battlefield.
Yeah.
Well, you have Battlefield, but look at what they've tried to do. Like, look at how many times they've resurrected and killed Medal of Honor, and so on and so forth.
Miss Medal of Honor. Jesus.
That could be making a comeback.
Yeah, World War II Medal of Honor.
Yes,
that's the only one that's
the
important.
Warfighter. Well, was it called War?
I think it was.
I don't even remember.
I think you're right. I think it's Warfighter.
But to me, they were trying too hard, like with that whole realism thing. But I think that's the problem I've always had with EA. They're like a response company. Like they see something that, they see something that people like, and they either try to acquire it or put out something against it.
Yeah, but any big smart company is going to do that. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
If I see part of the market making a shit ton of money next year, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah. I get what you're saying, but on that level, that's what you do, what someone might do to try to get successful. Yeah. I don't think you have to fall on that when you are successful, and they're a very successful company.
But that's like, I can look at that as hubris. Like, you're just assuming that they're not gonna at one point outdo you. So you know, then that's when you end up getting outdone. So they're just being preemptive with that stuff, you know.
But
you just don't like big companies.
No, I've got no problem with big. Well, personally, I think the bigger the company, the more resources they can put into something good. Okay. Where, in my opinion, you don't have to react. You can be preemptive.
I look at it the other way. Of a big company is the thing that's able to do shit like Mirror's Edge and get away with it, not sucking, but not doing well. Yeah. And it also allows me to pay for my mistake. So, okay, I fucked up and I didn't make a good enough Call of Duty clone, right? But because I'm a big company, I can continue to put money into it and keep going down that path. Or with anything else, NBA Live, same fucking deal.
They're still pumping those out, kind of.
They are.
Kind of.
Hey, we fucked up, but we're such a big company. To make a sports analogy, because that's how I roll. It's like the Yankees or the Red Sox. They can have homegrown talent. They want it. They have nothing against homegrown talent. But if we fuck up and pick a shitty first baseman, we also have the money to go buy a first baseman. Yeah. And that's how I look at EA. Is if we fuck up and we put our cards in the wrong game, well, I have the money to go buy that better game and keep me in the market and keep me.
I don't want. This is gonna sound like a negative statement, but I did have fun with it while I played it. I don't want a Titanfall 2.
Oh, they're gonna. That's not even a doubt. That I have no doubt Titanfall 2 is there. They've already talked about it.
Yeah, it's coming out. They're gonna announce it.
To me is reactive. Like,
but see, I disagree. I disagree. I want a Titanfall.
To you fast?
No. Well, but that doesn't mean they can't improve it. That doesn't mean they can't make the stale parts better.
They did things wrong.
Right. Just they can learn from that and move. Just because the game's not a blockbuster doesn't mean I don't want a second one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's insane.
I thought it did do well.
It did well,
relatively
but it fell
well.
off.
Yeah.
And everybody had the same thought, is that it fell off.
Yeah.
Didn't have staying power. But that doesn't mean I don't want a second one. It means I want them to learn what was good in Titanfall and what was bad, and then make me a better second one. Yeah. Like, give me a campaign.
Well,
they did, man. They gave you a campaign.
What?
That was rude. No, but EA.
I just thought of something that bothered me that really shouldn't have, but it really bothered me. But to that effect, Are we covering it? No. Producer of a game talked about how campaigns take up 75%.
Oh yeah, Cliff Blazinski. I don't give a shit about what he says.
Yeah.
So
To that effect,
yeah,
a game like Titanfall,
Yeah.
to me, because it's not released cheaper,
right.
but it
Doesn't mean
it's
anything.
it's that response to, we're gonna give you your multiplayer fix, and that's all it's gonna be. It's gonna it to me, it's just a reaction. It's not like that product was something to behold, or
But it was. Look what Call of Duty did after it came out.
Yeah.
Call of Duty went, hey, we already have the other part of the game. We're going to take everything from Titanfall and throw it in our game.
Yeah. With Black Ops 3.
It's 100% they were good. They were good on their own. It's a solid fucking game.
To me, if you're that mind-blowing, you don't get an opportunity to take every good thing about something.
Yeah,
and
but it's
put
the
it into
first
something
iteration.
else.
Like you're talking about, like Call of Duty's been doing it way longer than Titanfall, and they can build
I don't know
on
why
it.
you're hating Titanfall.
I'm not hating it.
It sounds like you're hating Titanfall.
I'm not hating.
No. You're coming pretty salty right now.
Yeah.
I'm saying you had your Titanfall.
Yeah.
Move on.
No.
So that would be like
you had your Dark Souls.
Yeah,
It's
you
time to
had
move
Dark
on.
Souls, you had your XCOM, like, time to move the fuck on, you already had one of them, make something brand new, and then you get Dreams.
What were they made
That's
in
how you end up with
response to?
Dreams.
What were they made in response of?
I don't know what that means.
What do you mean?
They were not made to compete with something else in that specific genre.
So there can only be one shooter. Everybody else get the fuck out. I don't.
No, what do you mean though? What do you mean?
What I mean is, there are titles I feel are made directly in response of other titles.
Okay.
And they are, to me, hit or miss. Titanfall hit. But it hit as a response to another title.
To what title?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Well, time out. So, time out. So, I know you believe that Dark Souls is original, but it is a dungeon crawler with hard difficulty.
In response to what?
I don't know the answer to that, but I'm sure there is a response. It's not as original as you think it is.
I don't understand.
I'm not
but
saying...
it doesn't need to be, because
I'm
think about it. Shooters, everyone wants a new shooter. Like
Titanfall is a response to the success of Call of Duty. It is just to be in that market. It is not to be...
Yeah, but Call of Duty is a response to Doom and like other shooters before it. They're all they're all iterations, like responses to other things. Like Call of Duty's been around because Medal of Honor was around before that, and
understandably
Band
so,
of Brothers.
but
that doesn't knock their success.
there's a difference between getting into a market to be in that market or getting into that market just because you see how successful it is.
It's because you can get into a market
that.
to make it better, to make a better game. They're responding to the fact that people are upset with Call of Duties and saying, okay, we're gonna make a better game than that. Obviously, they didn't do
I
as
don't
well.
see it that way.
Why else would they do it? Just because
Money.
the guys who made that were
But it's
originally from
all
Call of
about
Duty.
money.
Yeah, I understand.
It's always about money.
Even your Dark
can't
Souls
get-
games are about money. Even
Yeah,
XCOM's about
why
money.
do you think they fucking made Bloodborne?
Yeah.
Money.
I get that. I get it's about money.
Okay.
But I don't think it on its own was something to continue unless it is so strictly about money that it is not at all about content.
So you're saying that Titanfall was such a shitty game?
No, I'm not saying shitty.
You're saying Titanfall
I'm
2?
saying on its own merit is
What is
not
that?
something to be
What is that?
continued.
What does that mean?
Well, no, he's saying that like as a result of its own success, it didn't need a second installment, but it has one because of Call of Duties. That's
Like, I don't understand what you're saying.
Well,
On its own merits, it was a good game.
yeah,
Yeah,
it sold
it
well.
was
Why wouldn't it call for a second one?
Yeah.
It's not like it was a shit game.
Got that. Do you believe wholeheartedly that every good game deserves a sequel?
I don't see why not.
I've never felt that way.
This is coming from a
That
person
doesn't
who
even make sense.
you like all the Dark Souls, you like all the Metal Gears, you like, Metal Gears didn't need another one.
I'm not
as long as you like it.
No. Because there are games I know justify a sequel from what other people see in them, and from what other people get out of them. To me, to me, it was so much in response to something else that you still have and is still doing successful that it doesn't present enough on its own to merit a sequel.
What?
But that doesn't even make sense, because when Titanfall came out, it was groundbreaking. Nobody had free-flowing combat and mech combat like it did.
Yeah.
Nobody used cards like it did. Nobody had as good actually matching people like it did.
Mm-hmm.
It was groundbreaking.
I want to play it again now.
And then Call of Duty stole that shit from it.
Yes, I know.
So why would Titanfall, who brought out a bunch of these groundbreaking ideas, granted, failed on some of it. There wasn't enough maps. There wasn't enough variety. I get that.
Yeah.
It failed that. But how does that make it not good enough for a sequel?
Think about it. They're like content away from being a juggernaut against Call of Duty. Like they're they're short on content. That was the biggest thing. They didn't have enough staying power, and people were ready for the next one.
They didn't launch on PS4. It was exclusive to PC, Xbox.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
which hurt them. That hurt them. But I don't. So the whole thing I don't get is I don't understand. I guess your criteria for a game deserving a sequel.
The problem I have with it is that it was made in response to something else, and then because of how much similarity they are, one being based off the success of another, the original was able to utilize most of those features that made the other unique and just keep going.
So do you like that Final Fantasy makes a new Final Fantasy all the time?
Yeah.
But it's the same thing, you know what I mean? Just because they're different companies doesn't mean that they made.
I'm not saying.
And some Final Fantasies weren't as good as the previous one. So what is reason for making another Final Fantasy?
The belief that you can add enough to it. I just don't see that. I don't see that there. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
that's
you haven't
what I
even
mean by
seen the
merit
game
on its own content.
Yeah, but
I don't see that there.
But you haven't seen the new game.
Yeah, and you haven't.
That would be like, that's the same way you are with Homefront. You're just like, well, it's 2 hours. But it's not even the same people making it. You're just being like, I don't like the original game, so fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. You're not giving them a chance to even show their product. That would be like saying, hey, they shouldn't be making Dark Souls 3 because, you know,
it looks like
they
Bloodborne.
took 1 and 2,
no.
They put it into Bloodborne. Bloodborne's way better. So Dark Souls 3 can go sit on a fence.
He's saying
that
if someone
wouldn't be a competitor making it. That's still just showing off your potential.
That's still a money grab, though.
But it's a different way of using the scheme, right? You yourself say Dark Souls 1 and 2 are different than Bloodborne, right?
Yes.
And it's a general consensus that Bloodborne has done way better than Dark Souls.
Yes,
so that means
but
Bloodborne's
it's not a
better than Dark
competitive
Souls.
creation. It's not someone showing you your originality can be assimilated this easily. Like, everything you brought to the table is not original anymore.
I don't see it.
I don't know how we got here.
Yeah.
You confused the living shit out of me.
Me too.
Because I don't understand your criteria. I don't understand. So anyway, let's go back to the original question, EA.
What are you gonna see?
What I think is big for EA is they don't need E3 anymore.
A lot of yeah.
Right, because they're big enough. Now this is the first really big impact. We might see more. I mean, Nintendo pulled away, did its Nintendo Direct, which Nintendo fans at least love because they get more steady updates instead of just like a chunk of news. And then E3 is letting people play their games. So a really good example I heard over the year was at one of I think EA's last E3 press conference, they brought out a soccer star. And everyone's like, who the fuck is that?
Oh,
and I'm
Pele?
at home, I'm like, oh, no shit.
Wasn't it Pele?
Oh, they brought out Pele.
Yeah, and everyone's like, this is fucking stupid. Why is he here? I'm like, this is awesome. I love that guy. And I think that, and by them having their own thing, then they can bring people like me, or people like me are the ones who show up to the FIFA talk. Mm-hmm. Or people like Jason show up to the Madden talk.
It's more concentration.
You know what I mean? Right. So it makes more sense instead of having all these random people who realistically EA's biggest titles a lot of times are sports games other than NBA Live. So they can get those people funneled in and those people talking about it instead of people coming away from the press conference going like, I don't know why the fuck they talked about FIFA. It's just FIFA. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think for them it makes sense. and they're big enough in their own right that when they go, hey guys, we're having this big event, media takes notice.
Yeah.
And places like IGN and GameSpot are like, instead of just being like, oh, EA is doing its own thing, their first inclination was, oh, now we have to cover this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which just means EA is big enough to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because I think if it was a smaller place, they might be like, well, we're already doing E3, maybe we won't see that. But with EA, they're like, no, we have to be there.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I hear you.
So good for them.
So I think going off that, we're gonna see obviously more about Mass Effect. We're gonna see. I think we're gonna see Titanfall 2. Like, pretty sure.
Titanfall 2, Battlefield.
I think you're gonna see some sort of huge like announcement for Battlefront. Like a huge like DLC pack or something, because they really haven't released much yet.
Well, they did. They said the season pass finally.
What do you mean?
This might sound like a
detailed the season pass finally.
The game's been out for like, whatever. I'm not even gonna go there.
No, but they did. They finally detailed the season pass. It starts in March. They get the first of the 4 DLCs for it.
Oh, and maybe here we go. I'm hoping this comes true. Star Wars Battlefront is going to be free on EA Access Vault.
No, you got your mind.
They're announcing, or not
Out of your
E3,
mind.
EA3. They're announcing it at EA3.
EA3. Out of your mind. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think when Battlefield drops, I bet you Battlefront goes free to play.
Yeah. Battlefield Hardline didn't take too long.
That's true.
I'm hoping.
I hate you for making me buy that.
Yeah, you did it to yourself.
Do you
No,
think there's
fuck you.
something special with FIFA?
Do I think there's something special with FIFA?
The thing, like, over the past few years, to me, they keep trying to do something to make the I forget what they call the creative team, but
FUT.
they keep trying to make that more than
It's FUT.
what they currently have.
No, that is huge, Var. You don't.
No.
Yeah,
that is huge.
I know. I'm not talking about being successful, but they had an online version of it that was free to play.
Mm-hmm.
That was like it. Basically, you could just play FIFA.
Play the packs, yeah.
Yes,
No.
but do you think they'll try to do any more with that?
Like how? What do you mean?
Like,
Because they continue to try to add stuff to it. I don't know what you mean. Do you mean like are they thinking
know
about expanding
there's
it and making
FIFA.
its own entity out of FIFA?
what I'm
And,
trying to say is, I think they're trying to make a FIFA MMO.
Well, it essentially kind of. Well, it's not. It's more of a trading card game that you can actually like Pokemon almost, except you know the Pokemon trading card game mixed with the Pokemon game. In that you have the card, you put the card down, and then you get to kick a ball. There's something there, guys. But I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be a MMO.
So anyway, no, I think before it ever went MMO style, I think we would get the announcement of the platform, and I think that's what everyone's still waiting for in the sports world. Is that Madden is no longer a yearly release, but it is now a platform. Yeah, it's a service.
Yeah.
Same deal with FIFA. I mean, NBA Live, if anyone
Yeah,
played it, probably.
That's interesting.
Because EA Access basically did that a little bit,
Okay.
right? So I think that realistically, maybe that's what maybe that's why they went early, is that it's going to be NFL, Madden NFL, and that's it. That's all the name is.
Yeah.
And it is no longer a yearly product. And maybe they do that. Maybe they say, hey, if you have EA Access, you already have access to it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, sign up. And they just do that. That you pay $30, and every year you get the updates. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think FIFA has a better opportunity to, I think, with the FIFA Ultimate Team, in that I think like the people that decide all this can say, if enough people are paying $60 on Ultimate Team, then we will make the other end of the game free, and you know, get support like you said through EA Access Vault or some other, make it a platform where that is there's, because right now that is what generates a lot of revenue for them. But I don't think it's justified enough because not everybody does it. Like I don't do Ultimate Team. I don't think Phil does. We go towards franchise, and there's resources that go into making franchise and that stuff, and they're just like, it's not worth it yet. But I think if enough people get into it, then they would, you know, like outright just say it's, you.
Well, they make it microtransaction based, right?
Yep.
I mean, just like everything else is going towards.
Yeah.
They make it that, hey, you can play FIFA all you want.
Yeah.
Maybe they do something along. Imagine this. Maybe they did something along the lines of like, hey, you can play FIFA whenever. Problem is you can only play by X teams. If you want the American teams, it's $5. If you want the Europe teams, it's $5. Or they go, hey, $40, you unlock all the teams.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, no, we're just
because that's their way. That's their way of making you buy the game without buying the game.
Yeah.
But from playing games like that, the thing generally is shitty chance at something cheap. Greater chance at something more expensive. Never guarantee anything.
No, I understand that for the packs, but to play as the actual teams.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
You think they raffle the teams?
The actual players for the team.
No, the teams.
Like the teams.
But so I'm
like
saying
Real Madrid, Barcelona would be higher than
or
America.
A higher rarity.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they would do it that way. I think they would do it, hey, if you want to play as any team, it's $40. If you want to, and 40 is flexible. And if you want to play as the teams that are unlocked this week, then it's free. Yeah. Almost like a MOBA, right?
Yeah,
I mean, like just hearing that is so impractical. I feel like, for me, I'd just be like, yeah. Well, no.
No, I think someone like you would go, all right, here's my $40.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what they want. It's about getting everybody in the door and getting all the monies.
Yeah.
Right.
All the money.
So if I can give away a free system, that someone might pay $5 for, $10 for to get the teams they like, but you will pay $40 for, and then people are still doing the other microtransactions of Football Ultimate Team and that kind of stuff. I don't know. Doesn't sound that bad to me, especially when right now, directly FIFA gets none of my money anymore.
Yeah, it's true.
So
yeah, mine either, or Madden.
Yeah, which hopefully FIFA next month.
All right, cool. That's enough for EA. It's enough publicity. Next up, Final Fantasy. Got a little Final Fantasy section to talk on. So they released a new trailer, little gameplay trailer. A little sneaky mission. Kind of sneaky mission. You guys watched it, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yep.
Not like I already knew
Interesting.
that. So all right, let's talk about it. So you're interested. You're intrigued by that. What did you take away from it? Phil, you have the floor.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. It was very man, it's just too much action. I think for me.
I don't. Yeah.
I think I'm in.
Yeah, I'll play it.
Because the game looks interesting and good, but it's not. I don't know. It's just. So Final Fantasy was known for something, right? And it's almost like they're like, "Hey guys, we're gonna keep Final Fantasy name, but we're gonna try a different type of game, and then just hope nobody notices." You in? All right, let's do it.
Well, it's similar to that that PS
that's
Vita
what really happened.
version. That Go ahead, Var.
I think it was a progression of exploiting the technology they had available to them. Like with everything.
I get that.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But I would agree with you wholeheartedly if JRPGs didn't still exist.
I like turn-based. I like Final Fantasy X.
If turn-based went away completely in every other game, I'm in. I get it. But it didn't. You built your castle on that, and we are so far from that it's almost like, okay, we get it. It's Final Fantasy because it's a story. It's the final story.
Final count.
But what you built on is just gone.
Well,
they've been trying to get
Yeah, and I just don't like that. That's fine. They can do whatever they want. It's just not what I want, so it's just not something I support as heavily.
I understand.
I like turn-based games still. I'm not a proponent of everything has to be action.
I agree with you completely. The thing is, I think their take it, if you really want to call it action, their take at it, to me it's still all right with me. You see the games I play. I still prefer turn-based as well, but The thing is, I've always felt that way. Like when we had the discussion about open world,
Yeah.
I think a lot of what we had is what they felt they could give us and get their story across.
Yeah.
And what we're getting now is the exact same thing. Like
Yeah.
they're still focused on story, but now they can do so much more. And I, I, I'm afraid of saying this, but I think they're more worried now about someone being bored with the old.
Yeah.
The,
See, I get that about always kind of having to progress forward, and they've done the other ones, so they have to move on from them. And again, I would be in if other games didn't do JRPG so well.
Yeah.
To show that there is still life in it.
mm-hmm. I agree with you completely.
Then I don't see how Final Fantasy 15 is anything but an action game.
Yeah, you know how they said that there's two play styles? I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
Unless, you know, I get
they
it.
switched it. Right.
I
they
get
switched it to, like, now your directional pads are each of your weapons, and, like, how is that? I don't know.
I think there will be a learning curve, but I think
there's going to be a huge one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One I'm going to get mad at.
That or, like, you have to play Devil May Cry first.
For 13.
Huh?
Huge
I
learning
never
curve
got
for
into
13.
13.
No, I
couldn't do it.
That's the thing. Exactly. I'm in the same boat as Phil. Like, because, like, I'm going to be honest, man. I played Final Fantasy X on my, when I first got it on my Vita. Now, granted, I like that game, but I love the mechanics of it. And I when I first got it, I put like 63 hours into it, like that. Like, just because I love every part of that game, including the turn-based part. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just me.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you both. I adore those games.
It's interesting.
I think they're scared of staying stagnant.
I'm glad we saw more. Like, I'm gonna throw that out there. I'm glad, like, they're continuing to kind of drip information and pieces about this game. It's not like it's gone. You know, we've gone.
Look how long it's been.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And by a different name.
Yeah, I'm still, like, concerned.
Yep.
They still haven't announced when it's coming out, right?
Nope.
So that's another issue in itself. But we'll see.
And remember, we're supposed to still get a second beta.
Oh, God, don't even.
Remember,
2020.
So that's like,
woo!
We made it! Right along with Final Fantasy VII's final release, 2020.
Speaking of Final Fantasy. Okay, so we all know Final Fantasy VII is episodic.
Yeah.
We got that info.
Yep.
There was an interesting article on Games Radar about that concept and what might come of it with Final Fantasy VII. You guys both looked at it. Yeah. Some of the biggest takebacks I saw were the idea that, you know, you're going to get more immersion in the cities, in all the towns you went to. Yeah. You know, you're going to see more going on. You might spend more time with different players you never did, different characters. Maybe certain installments, like, of the episodes. I don't know how they're breaking them up yet. You'll play as someone else, and maybe they'll have their unique play style. Is that interesting to you guys? Like,
no.
No. So, Phil shaking his head. Var said no. So here's my thing. I'm gonna start off and get my stuff out of the way because I'm not, like, completely opposed to this, but I know you guys are. It's clearly not a remake. You know what I mean? It's a name. It's the same name, same idea.
Yeah.
And the implementation is completely different. And it's been, 20 years since it came out. So the idea that they're going to break up an 100-plus RPG into episodes does concern me a little bit, in that I don't know what that's going to look like as far as time frame. Like, how is it 5 installments of 20 hours or more? Is, you know what I mean? Like, let's say that number is a little bit over 100. If the gameplay is anything like Final Fantasy 15, I'm going to be a little concerned. Because you know it's going to be like that, right? It's going to be the same. Because then you're having two games that are essentially the same thing, but just fed to you differently. Right?
But that's the problem, isn't it?
It's fed to you?
Like, no, it's so... It's literally... So this is an example of what VAR hates. Is it not? It is a cash grab. They decided that they could make a new Final Fantasy, slap the fucking Final Fantasy VII name on it, and people are gonna fucking buy it. And they are. Like, let's be honest. People are gonna buy this. Whatever they shit out in the end, people are gonna buy it. But it's not Final Fantasy VII. And so, like, I get there's a lot of hate about, oh, it's a remake. They're allowed to change things. And you're right, they are. But it is so far past Final Fantasy VII at this point. It's Final Fantasy 16 and just move the fuck on. or it's Final Fantasy 7-2. Like, stop calling it Final Fantasy 7 when the only thing true to it are the character names and it has the same plot line.
Which might change. Like, I mean, they said you don't know. You don't know. Because they said it might be different.
This time you have to go blow up the reactors in all the other fucking sectors.
Spoiler.
I don't.
Jesus.
Yeah, sorry. Inside knowledge. My bad.
I know. You're right. This is something I hate in gaming. My problem is that Final Fantasy is an old lover of mine. Oh. And I know she can do me wrong, but when she comes around, I can't say no.
There's none of us. No, there's not. Yeah. All of us are going to get it. Yep. All of us are going to play it. Yep. That's not even a question.
Our own versions.
Now, maybe they do. Maybe we play the first episode and some of us fall off. Like, wow, you really are out of your fucking mind. But we're all going to play it. Everybody's going to play it. Yeah. Everybody. That's what pisses me off. Yeah.
What scares me, though, with the whole theory of how places and people become more important. Yeah. I don't know how you guys felt about playing Final Fantasy VII, but a lot of the places were insignificant to me.
Well, you had your mainstays that stayed with all of us, right? So, like, when you had to dress as a chick, and when you had to do that
arcade,
yeah, like, so, like, we all have those moments that stick with us, but they do not make up the whole game.
But here's the problem. Yeah. I feel like any effort to give, like, because I remember almost every location in that game.
Okay, I don't.
Like, there was a...
He's probably played it a lot.
I'm not gonna...
A lot. You probably played it, like, a lot over the years. A lot.
Yeah, I did everything in that game.
A lot.
And it came out for the PC, and I did everything for it again.
Jesus. That's what I meant by a lot, Phil.
Yeah. Yeah, check my Steam profile.
Oh, God.
The problem I have is I often in that game felt like just drudge through this. Mm-hmm. It's going to get better.
Okay.
And if you make that drudging experience longer for me.
Yeah, but that was after playing it a couple times. You know what I mean? I don't think you had the same drudging experience first time.
It was playing in the beginning too. Yeah, it really was. It really was. The first time I had to go see Sid in that boring ass little town with nothing in it except that broken rocket ship. Yes, it was drudging.
But now that's going to be a full realized town, and you're going to be able to walk up and smell a flower, and you're going to be able to pet the dog. Don't you want that?
I want to fight Sephiroth.
Oh, okay.
Sephiroth won't be in the game.
Sephiroth and play with my chocobo.
Sephiroth's not in the game. He is no longer politically correct, so they had to edit him out. And Cloud is now also Hispanic. So
just got to add a dash, you know.
Well, they did change how Barrett speaks, so
yeah, they did.
How he speaks?
Yes.
I don't remember him talking.
Not like.
Do you remember Barrett's dialogue?
Not from like
wasn't it a bunch of ASCII symbols?
Version of a black guy. Oh,
wasn't like a bunch of ASCII symbols? I thought I just had to go in and decode it. I just never did.
The bad part is, those were the good parts.
No, they were.
It was the stuff you could read that was just like, wow, they don't know any black people.
Their only black people are in the movies. Like, that was 100%. 100% that's what they did.
Yeah, well, that and their anime is kind of a signal.
Well, it's all story.
So you guys are excited.
We'll see. Shit.
We'll just find out more information about both those games and, you know, decide whether or not we're just going to blow our brains out with this or not. You know, not realistically. Just like kill bullshit. Final Fantasy to us.
It's bullshit.
All right. Now, the meat of the show. I shouldn't call it the meat of the show. That sounds weird, doesn't it?
Does.
Our main topic.
Don't do that anymore.
Better. Yeah.
Don't do what anymore?
Meat. Let's keep meat out of it.
The meat of the show, guys.
No.
I'm not a fan of your meat.
So, Kotaku had an interesting article. I'm going to ignore what you said. Kotaku had an interesting article.
And you're not ignoring it. Mm-hmm.
About how, you know, marketing companies pitch, you know, letting people play their games that, you know, have influence on other people watching on Twitch or YouTube, and incentivizing those people. You guys both read the article. If you guys, those people listening, go check it out. Just type in Kotaku, Neverwinter, Star Trek MMO, and you'll find it. But the editor was sharing his experience with this marketing team. They wanted Kotaku to pitch Neverwinter and Star Trek, the MMO, and play the game, and they had incentives if people clicked on it and things like that. But then they also had interesting little tidbits about like how you should portray the game. Yes, guidelines.
Yeah.
For me, this isn't surprising,
right?
But I just want to know what your take is on it. What do you guys think of the story, about the idea that the publishers that are presenting these games to people, and think about it, like it's people all over YouTube, people all over Twitch, saying, you can play our game, you got to kind of be nice to it and, do it in this way. What do you guys think of it? Phil? I don't care who goes first.
Var, you can go. You can go first.
It kind of scares me.
It scares you.
Okay.
And one of the things that scares me the most is how it's going to influence how I view videos where they use some other game's content to promote it.
Okay.
And how now I'll probably be either consciously or not looking for those little phrases and how critical they are of the game.
Yeah.
Because I read through the guidelines and I feel like I've seen that so much.
Okay.
I feel like I've either in videos or in writing where the hardest critiques of a game don't seem hard, and the way they are telling you about the good features of a game feels so generic that it's frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Like the terms for it, like the way they laid out Neverwinter and told you exactly how to pitch it.
Yeah.
I feel like if you start jumping from game review to game review or videos on games, you see that.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people who are just like, they're telling, like, I don't have the best vocabulary in the world, but when I hear people referring to a game the exact same way, it always kind of strikes me the wrong way now. And now there's that part of my head that goes, they may not even be thinking on their own. This just may be a cash grab for them.
They're robots.
Yeah. I think so. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's fine. My thing is they do have to disclose that they're getting money from Neverwinter. Or not from Neverwinter, from whatever this firm is. Reelio? 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 I don't know how to say that.
Reelio.
Reelio.
Whatever.
So they do have to disclaim that this is an advertisement. And I think that kind of how we're going with like Twitch and YouTube and this, like even when you go to like Kotaku or go to a site, they'll have like sponsored post written in it. And that's kind of how I see this. So as long as they're labeled, I'm in. Like as long as it's a label, they have to. That's the easiest way for them to get shut down through FTC. FTC? Yes.
Yeah,
Federal Trade Commission. Yes. Because then it's just false advertisement. If you get money for promoting something, you have to say that you get money for promoting it. I think the bigger place it runs into a problem. I don't have it on YouTube so much. The bigger place I think it runs into a problem is when they do it on Twitch, and I've seen it on Twitch before, where people will have like sponsored ones, and I've noticed, like Bar was saying, like using of these words or this lingo in those broadcasts, but generally they'll put like sponsored in the title. But I could see how
that's enough for you, right? Like as far as disclaimer, if they're sponsored.
For Twitch, it's a little different.
Okay.
Because if it's someone I'm following, 9 out of 10 times I don't even read the title. I just go to my following tab, click into the stream. So that I would almost want something more.
Okay.
And then at that point, it's up to the Twitch, up to the person who is streaming to say like, "Hey, I'm sponsored by X, Y, or Z. And 9 times out of 10, you know, because they give away free codes and shit like that the company gave them. I'm okay with it. They're paying for advertisement, basically. The difference is they're doing it at a grassroots level. They're doing it at a person who is already established, just like Twitter and Instagram, right? Where Kim Kardashian holding that fucking, I don't know, bottle of Hennessy that's not
because she likes Hennessy.
Right. Like, she's getting money for that.
Yeah.
And that's even way more underhanded because that shit never says sponsored half the time. So I don't know. I get it. I get why, but it's a very thin line, I guess.
The problem I have is through this article, the example given was something where they actually suggested that they were free to play games, and that you click their link
to download.
Yes, and their link based on how many people clicks on additional funds. My thing is that's blatant.
Yes,
but that's also to evaluate how effective it is for them to have used it.
But that's blatant.
Okay,
that's
you don't like the words.
Well, you know where that link came from,
right? I see what you mean.
That is directly them.
Yeah.
If you don't have a direct result, there's, other than really ambiguous language, there's not really a way to distinct that you're getting paid or not.
What do you mean by that?
It's a rule to say that you're being sponsored.
Yeah.
But when there is no direct correlation of evidence between you being sponsored and you not being sponsored, what's to say that you weren't paid or couldn't be paid to do the exact same thing? It's like, I don't want to accuse a company, but let's say you were a huge game reviewing company. You could do the exact same thing and I'll nowhere say sponsored, and there is no direct correlation of.
Yeah, but that's so in the context of this piece, that's not what we're looking at. So we're not looking at like the corruption, and we're not looking at like backhand deals.
That's what makes me think.
Right, but that's the conspiracy theorist and everybody thinks this person's on the uptake and blah 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 blah. But for what the article is and what the article talks about, I'm okay with it. You're right. People could be shilling this shit without saying they're sponsored. People could be using their opinions to make money in a not so truthful way or not so genuine way, right? But this actually, to me, lays out a pretty genuine way to use the influence you already have to make money.
Yes.
So that I'm okay with. Like, if we got stupid popular and someone wanted to pay us $100 to play a half an hour of a video game, as long as people we listen to us knew that, hey, this video we're doing is sponsored, and there's things that we have to say or have to talk about, I'm okay with it.
Fair enough.
It's when they don't know you're sponsored, right? When, like, that would be like this. So like this right here, my chair. Like if I had a sponsorship with DX Racer, and every like 10 minutes I had to lean like this. But nobody knew.
It's subtle.
Right?
It's there.
But nobody knew.
Like,
that would be a problem.
Commenting on it, and you were just like, well, the color scheme isn't the best, but it's relaxing and comfortable. And yes.
Right, and I get that, and but that's a different line. That's a shady line, and
But that's what it makes me think of.
I get that, but happy to see in this, Kotaku even says at the end, like, hey, they put right in it that we need to say we are sponsored, that we need to have a disclaimer underneath the video saying we are sponsored by this company to promote this game. I'm okay with that. Because what else are you going to do to promote? That's the way all promotion has gone now.
Yeah. I mean, and they're constantly trying to find, better ways and newer ways to do this, with YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that. Yeah, it is what it is. It's one of the bigger things for me is that I don't know how often I've watched someone on Twitch or YouTube and bought a game as a result of watching them. I always felt in a way like I knew whether or not I was gonna buy it going into it.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, like I can't think of one like at least right now. I was trying to think of a game that I was influenced by, someone playing it that it just turned. I guess maybe. Oh, you know what's one I can think of is what's that one, that PlayStation Network one that we played for a bit with it's like Starship Troopers.
Helldivers?
Yeah,
We didn't buy that.
I did.
We bought that?
Yeah, when it first came out. Remember I told
I
you
thought
about it?
that was,
I was like, hey man, we should buy this.
I thought that was free. No?
When it first came out, maybe.
Yeah.
I thought I paid
thought
for
it was
it.
free.
Pretty sure I paid for it.
I don't know. All right, yeah.
I mean, that might have been one, so maybe I'm not. But, oftentimes I don't. But
I would say, no, I'd say the same. I'm not always influenced. They definitely make me check the game out more.
yeah,
though.
yeah.
Like, so when I watched, perfect example is I was watching the guy play Darkest Dungeon. And, like, I was intrigued, and I watched more of it and more of it and more of it, and then decided it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But, like, it definitely was able to spark my interest and not make me, but make me want to, like, look more into it.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, that's very easy with a free-to-play game.
Yeah, because you could just.
Oh, for
get your foot
these,
in the
yeah,
door.
it's stupid easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's like one of the people I watch on Twitch. He's sponsored by Guild Wars. So he always talks about his link that if you click it and you download it and you level up to level 2, he gets a part of that.
Yeah.
Free to play now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it's always been, no? Guild Wars 2?
No.
No,
You
there's
just have
just
to
no
buy it to
subscription.
get in. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I don't know.
It's interesting, like seeing that part of that world. You know what I mean? Seeing what that looks like. People should
Sound
check
really
it out.
nice about it though.
What?
Like
What?
it's a really nicely written letter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
their job.
Really nice
their
about
company.
it.
It's like,
So here's my question.
we love you.
My question for both of you.
Oh god.
If another game website got this, do you think they publish it?
No.
If this
Maybe
fell
not.
into IGN Lab, Games Radar, GameSpot, Polygon, do you think they post this?
Maybe not. More than likely not. I'd say.
Oh,
Is this you beating the Kotaku drum? Yeah, it is.
It is. Well, no, because it's more of that willingness to show us other parts of the industry, not just what a company wants us to see.
Yeah, I
To
get
be
that.
perfectly honest,
That's
and
why
this
I like
is not an accusation of anything, but I don't see sponsored.
You're
It just
accusing.
may be not noticing, but on their
Yeah.
reviews and their previews of games, that's where my mind immediately goes to that generic language.
Right. Well, and even knowing, so if they got a preview of it, kind of like IGN first, right? They get those things, and you're like, well, the company didn't give them this first just for the fuck of it. They didn't just decide, like, hey, they'll probably be really nice to us. Like, I guarantee there's some sort of, hey,
That really soft language on
right.
the flaws and
Yes.
You know what we should check?
What?
Somebody should do it.
If it's sponsored?
No, not even that. So we should check every review score that IGN's done in relation to like the IGN firsts. Like see if they're all like high up. They've never been bad. You know what I mean? Because
That'd
that's
be funny.
indicative, especially if they're not games that because I know they did they did Halo, they did No Man's Sky, I believe. What are they doing this month? They did Scalebound.
I don't know. They did something else.
Yeah. Which like IGN first, people are gonna forget they did an IGN first on that, but whatever.
Well, they'll have another one in a year.
That's true. It's gonna be the same content. Like they're just gonna recycle. People that don't even work there are gonna be in the videos.
Yep.
It's gonna be interesting.
Before we go, I had something for Jason. I just wanted to get his thoughts and opinion on something. I had forgotten, so I just wanted to bring it up real quick.
Okay.
Now, Jason, you're
Phil.
a really big fan of sports games.
I am.
You're a really big fan of bullet time. So how do you feel that the show is getting bullet time in 2016?
So I always wanted it for just fielding at first and third. It's the only time I ever wanted it.
Yeah.
The fact that it's in batting now, I'm gonna turn it off. I'm never gonna use it. Like
it's batting, it's every part of
yeah,
the field.
it's like I'm not surprised, but I'm actually like semi disappointed that they went that route.
Yeah.
You know, it was all a matter of time, right? So.
Well, because they have to add a new feature.
Yeah, they have to, and the new feature
this
is
year's
full
new
time.
feature. Yeah.
It's
I just
I'm still gonna buy the game though. But
without a doubt.
You know what's weird? I don't like the consumables and the passive
that was
traits. It's not that I don't like them. They worry me in that like how dependent you can become on them, and like some of them they put you at 2-0 right off the bat. I don't because I like authenticity.
They're trying to speed it. Yeah, but they're trying to speed the game up for people who want it faster.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Which they gave you that option. You remember like the previous year, you had that whole probability thing of like you can set yourself up to be ahead on the count, based on your stats, they jump you ahead of the count and stuff like that.
Yep.
But now you can just eat a consumable and you're ahead 3-0 with bases loaded or some shit like that.
So I get the consumables because they're trying to give you more to do. I do like that they've announced you can play whole series without backing out. Holy fuck, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's true.
So, because it used to suck how you backed out, the game auto-saved, you went to the main screen, and then you loaded all the way back in.
Yeah.
So whatever, I'm really happy about that. The traits I'm not worried about because they do it in FIFA, and it's handled pretty well. So I'm guessing they'll be able to make it happen. I know it's not the same company, but I'm guessing they'd be able to balance it. I'm excited for the game.
I am.
I just that bullet time, man.
Is disappointing.
That bullet time.
You can do better, MLB the show. You could do better, and they didn't.
They don't need to. They're the only ones.
That's true. There's that RBI baseball.
Oh, I bought that. It was terrible.
I think there's a new one coming out.
Nah, I don't doubt it. It's going to be terrible as well.
All right.
So bad.
So we'll wrap up. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Last Level Gamescast, episode 18. Let us know in the comments below what you think about anything we talked about today or any of our other videos. Those aren't where the comments go, Phil. And I don't know how to put comments there, so don't do that shit.
No, that's my product placement.
Oh.
That's my product placement.
Oh, okay. So yes.
Gotta make my quarters.
They have to pay you first.
Yeah. Seriously.
Oh.
You should put Phil's chair on the back of that.
I fucked it up.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Var.